What's up, horror fam? Steven aka Bojangles here. And come closer, my friends. I have something scary to show you. Michael Myers is back, but this time he isn't returning, nor is he out for revenge. Instead, this time it's because he's a curse?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And Jamie Lloyd is back too. Well, at least for like the first 10 minutes of the movie anyway. You know, long enough to give birth to her own uncle's love child, whom Michael Myers is hell-bent on destroying, so you have to wonder why he even wanted her to bear his child. But luckily, Dr. Loomis is back as well. And this time, he's not only going to try and protect the child, but he's also going to try and protect the family that's moved into the Myers house. Because, you know, that's Michael Myers' turf, and he's ready for a turf war.
What makes you think he'll come back here?
This house is sacred to him. He has all his memories here. His rage!
And luckily for Loomis, he's going to have some Halloween alumni on his side, as Tommy Doyle, yes, the kid from the original, is still in town. And he's dedicated his entire existence to learning as much as he can about Michael Myers, the occult, the thorn symbol, and in his free time he also likes to spy on his neighbors getting undressed from across the street. Still, he's ready to put an end to Myers once and for all, even though Myers has beaten him down so bad mentally that he's given him a nervous twitch. With all of that being said, let's take a look back and go over 10 things you didn't know about Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Or Halloween 6, The Origin of Michael Myers. Or Halloween 6, you know what I mean. Number 1. Danielle Harris wanted to return. When the studio was casting for Halloween 6, they wanted someone over the age of 18. That way, they wouldn't have to adhere to those pesky child labor laws. Danielle Harris heard about this and she wanted the role so bad that she decided to become emancipated. That way, she'd be considered legally an adult and she'd be able to work on the film.
My agent called up Paul Freeman and Mustafa and said, you know, Danielle wants to do this and what can we do to make it happen? And they said, we need to hire someone over 18, so get her emancipated.
Unfortunately, the whole emancipation process cost Harris around $3 to $4 grand, and the studio wasn't willing to pay her enough to recoup her losses. Instead, they offered her about $800 to $1,000 for a week's worth of shooting.
I had one more phone call, and I'll never forget the woman on the other line said to me, your character is a scale character. You die in the first act. We're not giving you any more money.
However, Harris has said that maybe some good did come out of this whole situation. Because if she had been the one that died in Halloween 6, then maybe there wouldn't have been as much of a demand for her to return in Rob Zombie's Halloween films.
Because there was a part of people that still wanted to have Jamie back. And I think that that maybe Rob Zombie felt the same way, and that's why I ended up coming back.
But then again, she also wants to return for Halloween Kills, even though she died in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Number 2. Come to us, Tommy. Producers wanted Brian Andrews, the actor who played Tommy Doyle in the original, to reprise his role for Halloween 6. However, due to his lack of an agent, they were unable to locate him. So, they cast Paul Rudd in what would become his feature film debut, even though audiences had already seen Rudd in Clueless a few months prior to Halloween 6's release. But, to be fair, Paul Rudd was working on Halloween 6 before Clueless. It's just that Halloween 6 was stuck in production hell for so long that Clueless actually beat it to the box office.
I'm completely bugging.
Jeez, I'm bugging myself.
Number 3. If Farrands could have changed one thing. Writer Daniel Farrands has stated in interviews that if he could go back and change a single thing, that he wouldn't have wanted Jamie's character to die the way that she did in the film. Just like he's not a fan of the way Rachel died in Part 5, he feels like their characters are worth just so much more. Instead, he was going to have her guiding everyone out of the underground labyrinth at Smith's Grove, eventually leading to her ultimate sacrifice when confronted by Myers. In an interview with Halloween Daily News, Farrands had this to say: "Even though Jamie was mortally wounded and you knew she wasn't going to make it, this little girl that had been through so much was going to stand up and battle it out with whatever she had left in her, and that was the end. That, to me, was the most fitting, best way to say goodbye and to move on. And to this day, I can't believe they didn't do it." Number 4. Howard Stern as Harry Sims. The shock jock radio host in the film was written with Howard Stern in mind. As a matter of fact, in the original screenplay, the character's name wasn't Barry Sims. Instead, it was Harry Sims, which shares the same initials as Howard Stern. A call was placed to Stern's agent to try and lock him down for the film, but was never returned.
I didn't understand what the movie was about.
However, without Stern on board, writer Daniel Farrands did have a backup plan. He figured he would try to get Mike Myers as himself. Yes, Shrek. Yes, Austin Powers to take on the role of the radio host. However, this plan never came to fruition either.
Denied.
Number 5. Joe Chappelle and Paul Freeman dropped the ball. As production deadlines loomed, director Joe Chappelle and producer Paul Freeman totally choked under the pressure.
Totally.
Apparently, the two would alter the script on a daily basis, changing stuff for no rhyme or reason, and often leaving people in the dark about the changes that were being made. Freeman would go through the script and just delete stuff on a whim, and would actually even send cast members home who still needed to be there for filming. Joe Chappelle went through and deleted a bunch of stuff featuring Donald Pleasance because he felt like his character was, quote, boring. The two messed things up so bad that MIRAMAX eventually had to step in and be like, whoa, 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 and they ordered reshoots in an attempt to fix the mistakes that they had made.
What have you done to it?
It should also be noted that MIRAMAX held a test screening for the film, with an audience consisting mainly of 14-year-old boys. A test screening that didn't go over too well with the young audience.
I wouldn't have wanted someone to ask me, well, my opinion of how Jaws should have been re-edited when I was 17. I would have ruined the fucking movie, you know? Geez, how could I have made The Wild Bunch better when I was 14?
Following the advice of the children, MIRAMAX demanded reshoots that would change the ending of the film, as well as removing numerous other scenes throughout. Still, none of this really comes as much of a surprise, because in an interview, actress Marianne Hagen has said that Joe Chappelle wasn't even a fan of the Halloween franchise. In fact, he only signed on for Halloween 6 because it would be the first in a 3-picture deal he would get.
Joe Chappelle had no interest in Halloween 6. He had an interest in getting the 3-picture deal with Dimension, and that was his sole purpose of doing this horror film.
Well, you know, it's always great when you're passionate about your work. Number 6. Christopher Lee as Dr. WYNN. It's almost like it was fate for Christopher Lee to not be in a Halloween film, because if you watched my video on 10 things you didn't know about the original Halloween, and if you haven't, you should, you would know that Christopher Lee was originally offered the role of Dr. Loomis, but he turned it down. However, when writer Daniel Farrands was penning the script for Halloween 6, he'd written the role of Dr. WYNN with Christopher Lee in mind. Alright, hold up. Now, I want you all to know that what I'm about to say I did not make up in any way. I've actually talked with Daniel Farrands. He's a pretty cool guy. And he gave me this little tidbit of info. This is not something fabricated, okay? So hold on to your butts, horror fam. When he approached producer Paul Freeman with this idea, Freeman was like, psh, no one cares about Christopher Lee being in the film, and that the villain from Lethal Weapon was a better idea. Seriously.
It's getting nowhere.
Number 7. John Carpenter presents Halloween 6. Not long after the release of Halloween 5, the rights to the franchise had actually expired. Carpenter tried to get back in the loop by teaming up with New Line Cinema and putting a bid in on the rights. However, they lost out to Miramax. This may have actually been a good thing though, because in an interview with Fangoria magazine, Carpenter stated that if he had the chance, he would shoot Myers into space. Now this was probably Carpenter just joking around and stuff, but they still couldn't help but take a jab at the idea in the film.
Michael Myers in space. Come on, next.
Number 8. Donald Pleasance passes the torch. While the film was in production, no one expected Donald Pleasance to pass away so soon. It's not a worry they had while filming, nor while writing the script. Still, Farrands wanted to set up the story in a way that Paul Rudd would be able to take over for Donald Pleasance, and his character, Tommy Doyle, would sort of be like the new Dr. Loomis, battling it out with Michael Myers in future installments. Number 9. Title changes. The movie went through numerous title changes. Originally, while working on it, Farrands simply titled it Halloween 666 with no subtitle attached. Later it would gain the subtitle of The Origin of Michael Myers for a short period of time. Farrands later added The Curse of Michael Myers to the script, which was sort of an inside joke kind of poking fun at the seemingly cursed production of the film. However, a producer saw this subtitle and actually liked it and decided that it was going to stick. Number 10. The endless amount of endings. According to Farrands, there were a ton of different endings attached to Halloween 6 at one point or another. These endings are in addition to what many consider to be the lackluster ending of the theatrical version. Slashed ending number 1. Loomis battles it out with Dr. WYNN. WYNN is dead and Michael goes missing. Loomis stops and asks, "Why not me, Michael?" At which point, Myers pops out of the darkness and slashes Loomis's throat, killing him. Slashed ending number 2. Loomis discovers Kara's dead body in the same bus station that Jamie stopped at earlier in the film. He then discovers Danny, whom is now covered in blood and catatonic, holding the baby and also a knife. Much like the ending with Jamie from Halloween 4.
No! No! No!
Slashed ending number 3. With all of the carnage going down at Smith's Grove, Dr. WYNN tries to make his escape by fleeing in a helicopter, thinking he has the baby in his black satchel. Once on the helicopter, he realizes that the baby isn't in the satchel and that Tommy had planted a bomb inside of it. As the kids escape Smith's Grove, the helicopter explodes. Slashed ending number 4. This is the ending that we see in the producer's cut, in which Dr. WYNN passes the curse on to Dr. Loomis. And that's it for this Halloween, and once again, we've been left with a cliffhanger of an ending. And unfortunately for us, we'll never figure out just what the hell happened because the next Halloween film promptly ignores everything preceding it except for the first 2 films. So, make sure you tune in next time for when we take a look at 10 things you didn't know about Halloween H2O. Until next time, my friends, look horror, listen horror, talk horror.
I feel like I've been drugged.
We have been drugged.
I'ma put cocaine in your ass.